And we're looking at a colder day today. The wind will pick up and the wind chill will start to drop. I'll show you what it will feel like as you're headed out.
Minnesota protests. Demonstrators on the streets overnight after a man was shot in the leg by a federal agent. The calls for peace from leaders in Minneapolis. Day 2 of testimony. What we can expect today in the Isaiah Ross trial after the families of the victims took the stand in day 1. WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Great to have you with us for the 8 o'clock hour on Fox 50. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Kirsten Clark. It is a beautiful start to our morning here. A little chilly outside. Yeah, but we'll turn now to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner for our forecast this morning. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. It's nice and clear. We had our cold front move through last night, but the cold air is filling in behind it. Right now, it is 33 degrees. When I walked in this morning hours ago, we were still in the mid-40s. So we've seen a significant drop over the last, say, 4 hours, 5 hours. Our wind is out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour, and it will be blustery this afternoon, 25 to 30 miles per hour, and that's really going to keep our wind chill pretty low. Right now, it feels like 27 in Southern Pines and 28 in the Triangle. Feels like 25 in South Hill and 30 around Rocky Mount and Wilson. So just be prepared for that. We're not going to see temperatures climbing above the 30s now that we've dropped down to around 33. We're also taking a look at Sunday. Our chances for wintry weather are increasing for Sunday, but there's still several elements that would have to come together for us to get measurable snow. We'll walk through some of the scenarios coming up. Grant?
Yeah, watching multiple delays this morning as folks are heading to work. You can see now a 2-minute delay headed southbound on 87 from Nightdale, so not too much of a delay there now. But we have more delays headed eastbound on I-40, a 13-minute delay from I-85 this morning. So again, leave yourself extra time if you're headed eastbound on I-40 or southbound on Highway 1. Now an 11-minute delay from Wake Forest and almost a 10-minute delay from Apex headed north on Highway 1 this morning. So more delays over the past 30 minutes to an hour. Durham also seeing more delays as well from 98 from NC 50 westbound. Now a 14-minute delay this morning, a 2-minute delay westbound on I-40 from Wade Avenue, so not too much of a delay there, but more delays from I-40 eastbound from Chapel Hill, a 6-minute delay this morning. You can tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking this morning, police in Raleigh are investigating after a robbery. It happened at a shopping center on Calvary Drive near Capitol Boulevard. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as forensics crews took pictures of an internet cafe. We're working to learn more about what may have been taken and if anyone was hurt.
Also breaking news overnight, protests breaking out in Minneapolis after a federal officer shot a man in the leg yesterday. Video shows demonstrators lighting fireworks and throwing gas canisters. Homeland Security officials say officers attempted to make a traffic stop involving a man they say is in the U.S. illegally. They say the person drove away, crashed into a parked car, and ran off. Officials say the officer chased him, and then the man assaulted the officer. 2 people nearby began attacking the officer as well. And that is when DHS officials say the officer fired his gun and hit the initial suspect in the leg. Minneapolis officials are calling for calm as tensions remain high during immigration enforcement operations across Minnesota.
I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos.
Both the officer and the man who was shot were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The other 2 people involved are in police custody.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we are hearing from President Trump as it relates to those ICE operations there in Minnesota. And we're also hearing from a federal judge who decided not to grant a restraining order to stop the surge of those operations there in Minnesota. Here's that post to Truth Social the president posted just a short time ago saying a highly respected judge declined to block ICE operations in the very politically corrupt state of Minnesota. ICE will therefore be allowed to continue its highly successful operation of removing some of the most violent and vicious criminals anywhere in the world. Now, as for that judge's decision, that judge decided instead to set timelines for the state and federal government to respond in this case.
This shooting happened just a week after a woman was shot to death in that very same city. Last night in Raleigh, people gathered in Moore Square to honor Renee Good and speak out against the immigration operations.
But there is no partnership in shooting a school teacher. There is no public safety in taking a mother from her children. If they choose to act like a rogue force, we must stop treating them as if this was a normal part of our community.
We have now seen several protests across the Triangle following Renee Good's death.
Happening today, we'll hear more testimony in the double murder trial of Isaiah Ross. He's accused of killing 2 teenagers back in 2022. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside the Orange County Courthouse this morning. And Kelsey, we heard from parents of both victims during the first day of the trial.
Yes, Renee, we did, and we're just about 90 minutes away from hearing new testimony here inside the Orange County Courthouse. We'll go ahead and give you a rundown of everything that we know from the first day of the trial. Isaiah Ross's attorneys say one of the 2 teenage victims he's accused of killing was the aggressor, claiming Ross was acting in self-defense. Now, several people took to the witness stand, including the people who found the bodies and Orange County Sheriff's Office employees. We also heard from the victims, Lyric Woods and Devin Clark's parents. They recalled the last time they saw their children.
I didn't want to think nothing was wrong. So I kind of just pushed it to the side a little bit.
Just really tough, emotional moments for those parents there. The trial continues this morning at 9:30, so we'll have a crew here inside the courtroom. And you can follow along every step of the way on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Orange County.
Breaking news, police in Raleigh are looking for a driver who hit a man this morning. The crash happened on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near Chavis Park just before 7 a.m. Police say the man who was hit is expected to be okay. No description of the car that hit him has yet been released.
Crews will be out today working on repairing the Raleigh Convention Center. This morning, a crane will be put up on McDowell Street so work can get started. WRAL's Adley Kadlabar is live in Raleigh this morning. Allie, there are some road closures people need to know about today.
And Kirsten, we're already seeing those road closures impact traffic. We've seen a lot of congestion here on McDowell Street. Activity is picking up because they're waiting for that crane to get here, all for those repairs for the convention center. Now, I want to walk you through this closure because it could impact your morning commute and also the detour around it. So take a look at this map. We can see 2 lanes on McDowell Street are blocked off from the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard exit ramp to West Cabarrus Street. 1 lane will be open. The city recommends using Wilmington Street to go around all of this mess. This comes more than a month after authorities say a mechanical failure caused a fire on the roof of the Raleigh Convention Center. It reopened this week, but today the convention center says a crane is going to be set up on McDowell Street to remove the roof and damaged equipment, and then crews will then put a temporary AC units up there as well. Now, all these closures are just going to last a little bit. They're going to last through Sunday. Reporting live in Raleigh, Allie Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Outage resolved. That's the news late last night from Verizon after more than 100,000 customers lost service yesterday. Verizon is also announcing that affected customers will receive credits on their accounts. We received dozens of emails from viewers after their service went down around noon yesterday. Customers reported seeing an SOS mode on their phone, which meant they were only able to call 911. We spoke with people who said they had no idea what was going on with their phone.
I panicked. I was like, I know I paid the bill, so let me go and check it out and see what is going on. So I took a drive over here to see, if it was something that they could do to, reverse the problem.
North Carolina Emergency Management confirmed with WRAL their operations were not impacted. Outages were also reported in major cities like New York City, Philadelphia, Houston, Atlanta, and Miami. And today is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He would have been 97. Now, Monday is MLK Jr. Day, celebrating the civil rights icon. Each year, there is an honorary breakfast at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel in Durham. This is video of last year's event. The breakfast brings people together from all walks of life and religious faiths to honor Dr. King's legacy. WRAL and Capital Broadcasting are proud presenting sponsors. You can watch it in its entirety starting at 7:15 Monday morning on WRAL.com.
Stepping down, a key member on the UNC Board of Trustees is resigning. What led to his decision to leave the school?
The future of AI. Our state's attorney general aims to regulate how it's used. We'll explain how that will happen.
And bundle up if you're about to head out the door. It's going to stay chilly all day. Running errands this morning, temperatures are down near freezing, and we only climb into the upper 30s this afternoon. But then when you add the wind chill, it feels even colder. I'll show you coming up. 8:14, and of course our cold front moved through last night and the cold air is now taking over. It's going to be with us today and into tomorrow, especially first thing tomorrow morning. If you think it's cold now, we're going to drop into the teens for tomorrow morning, so be ready for that. Lots of sunshine though on tap. We'll see sunny skies today and again tomorrow with those really cold temperatures. Checking out Chapel Hill, all is quiet. It feels like 28 around the Triangle. It feels like 31 in Fayetteville, 25 in South Hill, 30 in Rocky Mount. The temperature is on the left in the blue box, and the wind chill is on the right. So temperatures really starting to fall and just don't really recover this afternoon. Even with the sunshine, we'll see temperatures only in the upper 30s, and we get right back to freezing by around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to take a look at some of the scenarios that could mean some snow for Sunday. Grant?
Yeah, with the morning commute, it's been a lot busier across the area this morning. I-40 at Reedy Creek, both west and eastbound, we're seeing more folks traveling there, and it's been kind of slower across the area. So keep that in mind for the morning commute on I-40, seeing some more delays. Also heading into Raleigh, seeing more delays southbound on Highway 1, a 10-minute delay now from Wake Forest. You can tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Graham, thank you. This morning, a powerful member of the USC Board of Trustees is out. John Pryor has resigned from his position. He had been on the board since 2019 and has been serving as chairman since last summer. He played a key role in several high-profile changes at the university. That includes the creation of the at-times controversial School of Civic Life and Leadership. He also played a role in bringing Bill Belichick to UNC. WRAL Sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy says he played a big role in growing the football program.
Pryor would still consider it a success. That the football program sold out of its season tickets, sold out of all of its tickets. It generated more sponsorship, more donations, more revenue from all sorts of factors, and it really put North Carolina in the limelight as far as a football program.
Pryor did not give a specific reason for his departure, but said in a letter sent Friday that he had, quote, never felt better about the direction of the university.
Today, President Donald Trump will welcome Venezuelan opposition leader and Nobel Prize winner Maria Corina Machado to the White House. The visit comes after President Trump declined to endorse her when the U.S. captured Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro. Trump allowed Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, to lead instead. Meanwhile, the U.S. has officially started selling Venezuelan oil. In the days after the capture of Nicolas Maduro, President Trump said he planned to tap into the country's oil reserves. And now an administration official says the U.S. has completed its first sale valued at $500 million. Last week, Trump said the oil industry would invest at least $100 billion to rebuild Venezuela's energy sector. Oil industry leaders have not yet committed to those investments.
North Carolina is taking the lead in a national effort to regulate artificial intelligence. Attorney General Jeff Jackson kicked off a new bipartisan push. President Donald Trump has sought to ban states from regulating AI. He says it should only be up to the federal government. But several members of Congress and state-level leaders disagree with that. Jackson, who's a Democrat, and Utah's Republican Attorney General say AI can have some great uses, but they say it can also be abused.
There's some very promising developments there. But as AGs, we're also seeing ways that this technology can be abused. Voice cloning, deep fakes, AI robocalls.
It is incredibly important that we do it, not only for our industries, but for our kids.
State attorneys general spend lots of time fighting scammers. They are worried that if they can't regulate AI, then AI scams will only continue to grow in size and sophistication. More on this new bipartisan push on artificial intelligence at WRAL.com.
Attorneys for Austin Thompson want special accommodations for the trial next month. Thompson is accused of killing 5 people in Raleigh's Hedingham community in 2022. His lawyers say the stress of the trial was a contributing factor to a recent seizure Thompson suffered. They want someone in the courtroom who can administer his medication in the event of another one.
Progress is underway on the new bridge across the Alligator River on our coast. This area is right before you cross in to enter the Outer Banks. It is called the Lindsay C. Warren Bridge. It will be a 3.3-mile, 2-lane, high-rise bridge on Highway 64. This will allow boats to pass underneath the bridge while car traffic on top of the bridge.
A lot of our positioning is done off of anchors and GPS systems as opposed to the typical pile driving through templates and installation of a pre-installed template and piles into that. We've eliminated the template by using the software and the GPS technology.
Since February of last year, crews completed around 95% of foundation work. The estimated completion date for the bridge is 2028.
A group of Buddhist monks are getting closer and closer to the triangle on foot. Yesterday, 20 monks crossed the state line into North Carolina as the march across the country. The walk started in Texas more than 2 months ago and will end in Washington, D.C. The march is to promote peace. They are expected to arrive in Raleigh sometime next week and should reach D.C. by February 11th. Elizabeth, what a walk for them. It's a little bit chilly when they arrive, right?
Oh, yeah. So they're going to continue to cross North Carolina tomorrow morning. I hope that they can, add something. They're in those beautiful robes, but hopefully they can put a thick jacket on underneath it. Of course, we had our cold front move through, and now we're seeing cold temperatures taking hold. A little bit of light flurry activity. We're certainly not going to see any of that around here, but I love to pull up the Boone camera and just sort of see what they're up to. It's a little bit harder to see with the camera pointed in this direction toward the sun, but they did get a light dusting. The wind is really whipping around. The wind chill in Boone is -2 right now. So, want to go skiing? Maybe not today. For tomorrow, we are looking at a high of around 45, which will feel warmer than today. And then we jump all the way into the mid-50s Saturday with a small chance of rain that comes through with a front. Now, behind Saturday's front, we'll see temperatures falling all day Sunday. So the 41 there is likely to be in the morning, and then we'll be dropping down to freezing. If that, in fact, happens, then we're going to have cold air in place as a low develops along this stalled front. Now, the position of that low means everything in terms of what we can see. So we have a wide range of possibilities with this particular system. Let's jump on in and talk about what this version of Futurecast shows us. Friday will be fairly sunny. On Saturday morning up through lunchtime, we'll have a small chance for showers. And then that front will stall and the low will develop. Theoretically, the cold air will be in place. And this is the perfect setup for snow for us. We'll see that low hugging the coast and starting to spread some precipitation inland. And when it does, it could bring us some measurable snow. But, it'll be in the middle of the day. A lot of it could end up melting. Now, if the low is farther away from us, it takes all the moisture out of our area. If it backs up too much closer to the mountains, we'll be in the warm sector of it, and it'll just be rain. So we are trending colder, but that storm track where that low develops is critical, and we'll just be watching for the amount of moisture that we may end up seeing with this. We just had a bump up up on our model for the chance of an inch of snow. It's up to around 15 to 30% across our area for the day on Sunday. We have some really cold temperatures in our forecast, especially tonight. We drop down into the teens. I'll show you what it will feel like where you are.
Yeah, going to be cold tonight. And also watching this area here, this is going to be south of downtown, heading into downtown, closer to the convention center. Of course, there are a couple of lanes that are blocked off there as they do construction there. We have backups on McDowell all the way down towards Prospect Avenue. That's the area in red you're seeing here. So keep that in mind if you have to head up 401 this morning. You're going to have some delays there because of the construction they're doing there downtown. Into Durham now. We have a 21-minute delay on 98 headed westbound from NC 50, just a 2-minute delay westbound on I-40 from Way Avenue this morning. Tune us in the radio, 1015 HD3.
Graham, thank you. Tax season. Now's the time to start planning. 5 on Your Side explains the big changes you need to know about this year.
Returning to Earth, astronauts have returned from the International Space Station after one of them had a medical emergency. A look at the end to their 6-month journey.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 8:26. I'm Renee Chu. A bright and sunny start to our Thursday morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, and not only chilly out there, but it looks rather windy.
Doesn't it? This is a live look, of course, at the Legislative Building. Look at those flags. Look at the trees. Oh, that's not going to be comfortable as you're stepping out the door. The wind chill feels like 28 in Durham and Raleigh, and 23 in Roxborough, 27 in Southern Pines, and 31 in Fayetteville. And it's really not going to get any better today. I would recommend, if a workout's on your calendar, might do it inside. Our temperatures will only be in the upper 30s this afternoon, and it will feel more like freezing. Grant?
Yeah, watching a new accident. This is going to be heading westbound Capitol Boulevard near Brentwood Road here. You can see some delays headed westbound, so keep that in mind for your morning commute. If you have to travel on Capitol Boulevard towards downtown, there are some delays there. And also westbound on I-440, we've seen delays throughout the course of the past hour or two. So your drive times are going to be a little bit slower there. From Wake Forest south on Highway 1, a 9-minute delay now, and headed east on I-40 from I-885, now a 7-minute delay. Tune us into the radio, 1015 HD3.
Graham, thank you. Police in Raleigh are investigating after a robbery. It happened at a shopping center on Calvary Drive near Capitol Boulevard. Forensics crews could be seen taking pictures of an internet cafe there. We are working to learn what was taken and whether anyone was hurt. A second ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis sent a man to the hospital. This comes after the deadly shooting of Renee Good. Last night, people in Raleigh gathered at Moore Square to honor Good and speak out against immigration operations. Next on Fox 50, new testimonies today in an Orange County double murder trial.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
And that cold air is here. It's windy too. Temperatures this afternoon will only be in the upper 30s, but it could feel more like freezing during the day today. I'll walk you through it.
Plus, a second ICE shooting. A man in the hospital after a second shooting involving ICE in Minneapolis. What government officials say forced the agent to fire as tensions rise in Minnesota.
And murder trial testimony. Today, court resumes in the trial of a man accused of killing 2 teens. What's expected after an emotional first day in the courtroom? A lot to tell you about here on this Thursday morning. We thank you for sticking with us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Kirsten Clark. It is a beautiful blue sky out here today.
Gorgeous, right?
Little chilly and a little windy, though.
Yes, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking all that for us and why it's going to be much colder today.
Looking at all this gorgeous sunshine here in Durham. It's windy out there. You can almost see the flags there, right there on the lawn there at the DPAC. Our wind officially is northwest at around 6 miles per hour, but we've seen some gusts gusts all the way up to 15 or 20 this morning. 33 degrees now across the Triangle area. The wind chill is on the right, so it is feeling like 28. Feels like 23 degrees in Roxborough, 31 in Fayetteville, and 27 in Southern Pines. So it's a cold start out there. The winds will likely be gusting this afternoon up to around 28 to 30 in the Triangle. But check out Boone. Ooh, winds gusting to 56. They have a high wind warning and a cold weather advisory. It feels like -2 in Boone right now. So it could always be worse, right? Our temperatures will be in the upper 30s for this afternoon, and we still have an eye on the weekend. There's a possibility of some snow on Sunday. I'll show you what scenarios we would need in order to see that coming up. Grant?
Yeah, I-40 westbound has been pretty busy this morning. You can see now emergency vehicles on the right shoulder, so keep that in mind for your morning commute. Still a lot of slowdowns headed westbound. This is going to be this is I-40 at South Saunders Street, looking at the westbound lanes, and things are still busy there. So could have some delays throughout your morning commute because of some emergency vehicles there on the right shoulder. A 16-minute delay still on 98 headed westbound. That's going to be from NC50 this morning, headed west on I-40. A 3-minute delay from Wade Avenue. From Chapel Hill, a 5-minute delay, so slower now, headed eastbound on I-40, but not seeing any delays headed northbound on I-85 this morning. So no major delays there, but just a slight delay. And then also just seeing a couple more accidents. The main thing to watch for is westbound on I-40. Still seeing lots of areas of red here where we're having slowdowns headed westbound on 40, closer to 440. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Thank you, Grant. Breaking this morning, police in Raleigh are investigating after a robbery. It happened at a shopping center on Calvary Drive near Capitol Boulevard. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as forensics crews took pictures of an internet cafe. We're working to learn more about what may have been taken and if anyone was hurt. Tensions are growing in Minneapolis after a second shooting by an ICE agent there.
A man is in the hospital after being shot in the leg just over a week after another ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good. The Department of Homeland Security says agents were trying to conduct a traffic stop of a Venezuelan man they say was in the U.S. illegally. DHS says the man drove off and crashed into a parked car before running away. An agent went after him, and DHS says the man assaulted the agent. DHS says 2 people from a nearby apartment joined the struggle and hit the agent with a snow shovel and broom handle. That agent is also in the hospital this morning. The man who was shot is expected to be okay, and 2 other people are in custody.
Minneapolis mayor posted to Facebook overnight saying, "I have seen conduct from ICE that is intolerable. And for anyone taking the bait tonight, stop. It is not helpful. We cannot respond to Donald Trump's chaos with our own chaos." Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also took to Facebook saying, "What Donald Trump wants is violence in the streets, but Minnesota will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, and of peace."
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center in connection with the situation that's happening in Minnesota, President Trump posting the Truth Social about a half hour ago, threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. Here's that post on Truth Social. If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act is an 1807 Civil War era act that gives the president the authority to deploy the military or federalize the National Guard troops to bring order to a city. The last time a president invoked the Insurrection Act was back in 1992, President H.W. Bush, when those riots broke out in Los Angeles after 4 officers were acquitted of beating Rodney King. So we'll continue to follow this here in the WRAL Live Center.
Ken, thank you. In Raleigh, people gathered in Moore Square last night to honor Renee Good. There have been several vigils and protests across the Triangle following her death in Minneapolis. Today, we'll hear more witness testimony in the trial of Isaiah Ross in Orange County. He's accused of killing these 2 teens, Lyric Woods and Devin Clark, back in 2022. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the Orange County Courthouse after an emotional first day of trial.
This morning, we expect to hear new testimony here inside the Orange County Courthouse. We'll go ahead and give you a rundown of everything that happened during the first day of the trial. Isaiah Ross's attorneys say one of the 2 teenage victims he's accused of killing was the aggressor, claiming Ross was acting in self-defense. Several people took to the witness stand, including the people who found the bodies and Orange County Sheriff's Office employees. We also heard from the victims, Lyric Woods and Devin Clark's parents. They recalled the last time they saw their children.
I didn't want to think nothing was wrong. So I kind of just pushed it like to the side a little bit.
It's so far-fetched that somebody would want to hurt her.
Just tough moments for those parents there. The trial continues this morning at 9:30. We'll have a crew here in the courtroom. You can follow along step by step on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Orange County.
Breaking news. Police in Raleigh are looking for a driver who hit a man this morning. The crash happened on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard near Chavis Park before 7 a.m. Police say the man who was hit is expected to be okay. No description of the car that hit him has been released.
This morning, you'll encounter some traffic delays when driving in downtown Raleigh. Crews will put up a crane on McDowell Street for work to repair the convention center. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is live in Raleigh this morning. Ali, crews are arriving with that crane as we speak.
Kirsten, we can see it. They are getting it all set up here on McDowell Street. Looks like they are getting ready to start those repairs at the Raleigh Convention Center. They've already blocked off 2 lanes of traffic here on McDowell, and we have seen some congestion as it's reduced to 1 lane. And I do want to walk you through this closure just in case you're heading this way or want to go around this mess. Take a look at this map. 2 lanes on McDowell Street are blocked off from the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard exit ramp to West Cabarrus Street. 1 lane is open. The city recommends using Wilmington Street to go around. Now, this morning, we're already seeing this closure affect traffic. Now, take a look at this Drone 5 video. It shows heavy congestion and backups on McDowell stretching past Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. You can see people trying to merge into that 1 lane. Now, all this closure and repair work comes more than a month after a fire on the roof of the convention center. It reopened this week, but today a crane is set up on McDowell Street to remove the roof and damaged equipment. Crews are going to then put some temporary AC units on it as well. Now, this closure, this mess is supposed to continue just through Sunday. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Happening today, a former Sampson County police chief accused of secret peeping is expected in court. Just yesterday, we learned Greg Warren resigned from his position as Newton Grove police chief. He's charged with secret peeping and taking indecent liberties with a minor. Court documents show he's accused of going into a victim's bedroom and taking photos of the victim while they were asleep. Warren will be in court for a bond review hearing. That starts at 9 this morning.
Breaking this morning, in the last hour, the 4 astronauts who were on the International Space Station splashed down off the coast of California. They were forced to leave the International Space Station early because NASA says one of the astronauts had a medical emergency. And one of those who landed was Zena Cardman, who is from UNC. 3 staff members are now working on the space station. Law enforcement in the Triangle were involved in 3 high-speed chases in about 8 hours. The first happened around 6 a.m. yesterday in Wake County. Deputies tried to pull someone over for a license plate violation on I-540 near Falls of Neuse Road, and it went down US 70, ending in Durham. The driver and a passenger got out and ran. Deputies are still looking for one of the men. Then there was a second chase in Knightdale. Sky 5 capturing the aftermath, a man in handcuffs receiving medical treatment. The driver hit 2 law enforcement vehicles before the chase ended on Spectrum Drive. And then a third chase unfolded in Durham. It ended with the man taking off after the chase. Sky 5 spotted a man running through a parking lot. You see him? And into the woods on Sudbury Road. 18-year-old Zachary Johnson is facing several charges, including possessing a stolen vehicle.
Today, the Trump administration is set to meet with top officials from Greenland and Denmark as you look live here at the White House. President Trump posted on social media this week saying, "We need Greenland for national security." According to NBC News, the U.S. may have to pay as much as $700 billion to buy Greenland. However, leaders in Denmark insist its territory is not for sale.
The president has made his view clear. and we have a different position.
The problem is there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland, but there's everything we can do.
President Trump hasn't ruled out military action to gain control of Greenland, though Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said the president wants to buy, not take over the country with force.
Tax filing season. The time to file your taxes isn't far away, so now's the time to prepare. 5 on Your Side shares a few of the big changes you need to know about this year.
Plus, the cost of climate change. Rising global temperatures could hit your wallet. How supply chains are impacted by climate.
And our weekend winter weather chances. Let's give you a live look at Carolina Beach right now. So pretty. After the break, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will time out our next weather maker that could bring some snow to North Carolina on Sunday.
8:45. It is cold out there. We had our cold front come through. We've seen skies clear for the most part, but a little bit of cloud cover lingers. A few puffy clouds there in Wilson. The whirligigs are really spinning. We're going to see winds gusting this afternoon, 25 to 30. We're already seeing winds gusting at about 15 to 20 out there. 33 in Durham and 38 right now in Fayetteville. And temperatures are not going to warm up that much with the wind chill. It feels like upper 20s in the Triangle, 31 in Fayetteville. It feels like 23 right now in Roxborough. If you're going to be out running some errands this morning or for your commute, looking at near freezing this morning at 9 o'clock. By lunchtime, we're going to be in the upper 30s. We'll have plenty of sunshine. It's just going to be windy and chilly. We're going to talk in just a few more minutes about our potential for snow on Sunday. Grant?
Yeah, seeing a new crash. This is a serious crash off Six Forks Road southbound near Sawmill Road, so on the north side of town. Seeing some delays headed southbound. There's a little area of yellow there where we're seeing a slowdown, so keep that in mind this morning. Southbound on Six Forks Road is where you'll see those delays, and now starting to see some red there, so more slowdowns from that serious crash. A 13-minute delay now from Apex on heading north on Highway 1. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ready or not, it's time to start thinking about filing your 2025 taxes. Yes, it is that time again. The IRS begins accepting returns later this month. 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe has a look at some of the steps you should take now to make the process less stressful.
The IRS begins accepting tax returns on January 26th. That's a week from Monday. Here are a few key reminders and changes to keep in mind. If you're expecting a refund, electronic filing is the fastest way to get paid. As of this year, the IRS is largely moving away from paper checks, so make sure your direct deposit information is correct. The traditional tax deadline is still April 15th. If you need more time, you can request an automatic 6-month extension to file. That extension only applies to paperwork. Any taxes you owe are still due by April 15th. That's to avoid fines and interest. Several tax changes are now in effect after the federal spending bill was signed last summer, especially for individual filers. It's always a good idea to talk to a tax professional to avoid mistakes and possible penalties. Ashley Rowe, 5 on Your Side.
Some Cumberland County parents are frustrated after a school visit by U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon. She visited Jack Britt High School yesterday as part of a plan to visit schools in all 50 states to promote civics education. Some parents felt the department was too secretive about her visit, and they were also worried it would be too partisan.
They were not public about what they were speaking on and what they were going to do, so it feels as if it's not genuine.
District leaders say this event was not mandatory for students. They could choose as to whether they wanted to attend.
The Trump administration is bringing changes to school lunches. President Trump signed a bill into law yesterday that allows schools in the National School Lunch Program to serve whole and 2% fat milk again. The higher fat milks have been banned since 2012. The Obama-era policy was put in place to reduce childhood obesity. This change comes just days after the USDA announced a new food pyramid. The new pyramid includes full-fat dairy products as part of a healthy diet. Your chance to be in a live Super Bowl commercial.
and to hear a little ditty about Jack and Diane. Let's take a look at what's trending. First up, John Mellencamp is hitting the road to play familiar favorites. The singer has announced his Dancing Worlds Tour. He will be playing some of his greatest hits in 19 U.S. cities this summer. We're talking about some beloved songs that he has not played live in years.
Wow, and the tour makes a stop here in North Carolina, actually, as well, in Charlotte.
Yeah, he is 74 years old and still performing. Pretty impressive.
That it is. Well, this year could be your chance to be in a Super Bowl commercial. Skittles is holding a contest to find a home to do its live Super Bowl ad. The lucky winner will have Skittles delivered by movie star, get this, Elijah Wood, directly to their home.
So if this sounds fun to you, you can enter online at followtherainbow.com. You can get your 30 seconds of fame, and everybody would be watching you.
I just want to know, where do I sign up? Because I would love that.
There you go.
Well, you may not see it on your paycheck yet, but researchers say climate change is already costing you money. Researchers with the University of Arizona analyzed more than 50 years of income and temperature data from across the U.S. The study found climate change has reduced national income by about 12% since 2000.
And I think the really striking finding is that we know the weather has changed already, but it's not changing the weather where you live that matters. What really drives up the cost of the economy is changing the weather all around the country all at one time. And that's likely operating through the way counties in the U.S. are connected through trade networks and production networks.
In other words, hotter temperatures in one region can disrupt supply chains, raise prices, and slow income growth in other regions. Those costs build gradually and show up as higher prices and weaker wage growth over time.
And we're talking about weather changes with Elizabeth Gardner. Thanks to that cold front, and we have cold air settling in.
So it's bringing us the sunshine, but along with it, the cold temperatures. Temperatures are dropping, into the 30s at this point. It's also a bit breezy. We don't have any flags that are really easy to see in this particular camera view, but we are looking at winds up to around 6 to 10 miles per hour steady, and we're already gusting at about 15 to 20 in some places. We did drop to 33, and we're going to hold it there for a little bit. We'll climb up into the upper 30s right around lunchtime and just hold it there for the rest of the afternoon. So it does remain chilly. The wind chill feels like upper 20s in the triangle. The wind chill is in the white box on the right. So it's 27 in Southern Pines, 33 in Clinton, 30 in Rocky Mount, 29 in South Hill. And as the winds pick up this afternoon, that wind chill will help. That will help the wind chill to drop. All right, so purple and blue shaded areas. That's where the air is coming right out of the Arctic. So we're seeing that big push behind the front right now. Then we start to see a slight warm up on Saturday, and then we get another really big push. Look at this cold air. All this purple is just an Arctic blast that comes swinging in, and as long as cold enough air makes it into our region, which looks likely, we could end up with a setup for some wintry precipitation on Sunday. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk a little bit more about how the rest of today feels. It's going to feel like mid to upper 20s this morning and then low 30s through the afternoon. So that's what you have to prepare for. And then I hope you're ready for this. At this time tomorrow, our temperatures will be in the teens. 17 in Wilson, 16 in Clarksville, 14 in Roxborough, 15 in Southern Pines, 17 in Irwin and Smithfield. It's really going to be a cold start for tomorrow morning. Now, we take a look at Sunday. Our normal high is 52. 41 Sunday, that's likely to happen in the morning, and then we're going to see the temperatures falling. That would set the stage for the cold air to be in place. And then we'll have a low developing along the coast, but where it ends up will be everything to what we end up seeing. If it comes inland, we'll be too close to the warmth, and some of that may end up being rain. If it sits right along the coast, we'll have the perfect mix of cold air and precipitation to have maybe some light measurable snow. If it ends up out to sea here, we just won't have any precipitation at all, so we're watching that very closely. Right now, we're going to give it about a 30 to 40% chance of a half an inch of snow. Definitely a very cold forecast for us. Not only do we have teens for tomorrow morning, but again on Tuesday and very cold into Wednesday as well.
Elizabeth, thank you. Before we go to break, here's a look at your winning North Carolina Education Lottery numbers, and we'll get another check on weather and traffic next.